Hello everyone out there, Jason Zalu here for Byron Bay Live TV. Today we are with Michael Lyon. How are you, mate?
Okay, Zalu, good mate.
How's it going?
Yeah, mate, it's another election campaign. I've had a few.
Okay.
Enjoying myself.
Okay. How long have you been mayor for?
Been mayor for 3.5 years.
Okay.
Took over towards the end of last term that was extended from COVID.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
From Simon, who left
Yeah.
early. Late really, but early in terms of the length
tragic
of
with his
the
passing
term.
of his wife and so forth.
Yeah, and so I was in the job for about 7 months, then we had a general election.
Yeah.
And got the backing of the people, and I've been in for this term.
Cool. And when did you first come to the Shire, and what sort of attracted you about coming to Byron?
I actually was living in Brisbane in my early 20s when I met someone from the Byron Shire as my flatmate.
Okay.
Until then I didn't have any idea what Byron was, who they were, what they were about.
Okay.
And didn't know anything about it, but I went and visited.
Yeah.
And absolutely loved it. Spent a good deal of the next 4 years travelling to Byron from Brisbane, getting to know people.
As you do on holidays and
the place, and then went overseas for a good 10 years.
Okay.
And when I came back to Australia, the thought of living in a city again wasn't
it's a bit
doing
like
it
that.
for me.
Yeah.
And I moved to Byron.
Yeah, it's kind of what it happened to me with Sydney. You come up in the holidays and, you know, after...
You're a Sydney boy?
Yeah, Balmain, Annandale area in the west. Then after a while, decided to stay, as you do, in 2000. And what other things you've been up to? You know, I heard you used to manage Santos or work for Santos for a while? Or?
Yeah, so my business experiences, or life, work experiences, turning around businesses.
Okay.
So studied as an accountant, did law as well, but it was always accounting, which I was good at.
Okay, sure.
And then got into, running finance departments. And then when I came to the Byron Shire, pretty small C. In terms of professional experience, and so I found myself managing businesses.
Okay.
Took over Santos in 2012 when it was technically insolvent, and turned it around and left it in a very solid state of health 6 years later.
Great.
And built profile in the process.
Yep.
Being the GM of Santos.
Yep.
It's one of the jobs of the Shire, if you like.
Sure.
And did a fair bit of press. Joined the Greens.
Okay,
at that time.
Okay.
And then got elected to council in 2016 as part of Simon's team.
Okay.
With the Greens, stayed with the Greens 4 years.
Okay.
And then left, became independent.
Okay.
And started doing my own thing.
Okay, and this is where we're at the moment. What's your experience generally? I mean, I remember a while back, it's hard to please everybody. It wouldn't be an easy job. There's always people, that we're a Shire where we like to have our say, I suppose. Someone was saying we're the most, outspoken. You get more emails or something, don't you, from the people?
Public accesses are probably the longest in the country in terms of our meetings.
The meetings, okay, yeah, okay.
But there's a lot of people say, there's a lot of whingers in Byron Shire, etc., etc. But I'm assured by people that are in local government all around the country that we don't have a monopoly on whingers.
Okay,
it's just replete. Local government is generally got a lot of people that have a say.
Yeah. And what's the current sort of temperature at the moment with you running? You've been through a bit of a personal hard time. It wouldn't be easy to have that experience. It's just interesting how, in my personal observation, how people can be trolled in public opinion where they don't really know what's going on. And in a nutshell, that's obviously affected you. How you going with all that in a nutshell?
Look, I'm holding up.
Yeah.
The reality is that domestic violence is a hot topic in the world,
that's
in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's a focus point.
Yeah.
And all circumstances will get caught up in that and have a microscope on it. If you're in public life,
you could easily get branded,
and you have that thing happening, which I do currently, which I'm expecting will be dealt with quickly, and we'll move on. There's no real case to answer.
Okay,
but
sure.
Once it gets in the system, it's actually quite hard to get it out of the system at the moment.
Yes.
So the timing has been, pretty impactful. And look, I've got to go through that process. and complete it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very good about myself. I have my head held up high. I've been carrying on in my duties, and best supporting my family in the way that I can.
Sure.
Once that's completed, I'll be having a lot more to say about it and the impacts that it has on people.
Fair enough. Oh, I thought I'd bring it up. It's
all good, mate.
It's out there, and it wouldn't be easy. Your journey wouldn't be easy at all, because it's a small town. People like to gossip. People like to judge when they don't really know what's going on.
There is no presumption of innocence, and for a public figure, you get trolled by media. And look, that honestly, it goes with the territory.
Part of the job description.
And you just have to take these things on the chin and move on.
Yeah. And just to wrap up, so there will be a court hearing that hopefully will resolve it all. When's that?
Look, there's a court hearing in March, but my wife's made a statement of no claim.
Okay.
She's clarified her statement. There is no real case to answer as far as we're concerned.
Okay.
What we are hoping, what we are expecting, it's because I'm a public figure, it's with the DPP. We are very hopeful that will get pulled as being no case to answer.
Okay. And
DPP is the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Okay.
So it's sort of in their hands. They're overworked. They don't give a shit about election cycles. They don't give a shit about individuals. As far as they can see, there's a court date in March, so they're not under any. Okay. There's no fire being lit under them. Let's put it that way. So look, it'll go through the process, but look, it is what it is, mate.
No, I understand. I mean, it's probably you're still feeling like you're in the game to win. How
I think winning mayor is going to be tough.
Yeah,
and not because people don't support me or back me or think I've done a good job. Yeah, it's just a confidence thing when it comes to the mayor.
Yes,
you're the leader of the town.
Sure.
So people need to have that confidence that comes with. Not having things hanging over your head.
Regardless of what really happened.
Irrespective of that and irrespective of how well a job I'd done.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last
kind of thing.
Match,
and that just goes with the territory. Yeah. Significant upside with the idea for me in my head of not being there.
Yeah, sure, I
Obviously,
understand.
Put a lot into the job.
Sure.
Keen to continue, but at the same time, I've got kids. I've got a personal life that hasn't had a huge amount of nourishment in recent years. Plenty of things I'd love to be doing.
Sure. And what would you feel your greatest achievement with the job? The past.
Well, certainly the
achievements in the local community in a positive light.
Well, I think there's been many. In terms of the greatest, I'll give you a few.
Yeah, just a few.
So for this community, going through COVID was an extremely challenging time. Yeah. Very polarising issue.
Yes.
You've got people that are vehemently, against mandated things like vaccination. You have a community on the other side that's very pro, as we saw through that, and keeping this community from dividing too much over that issue was massive, and I think I managed that situation pretty well. Housing has been a major focus. I joined as an environmentalist with the Greens, but when I got to council it was clear that housing was the number one thing that needed fixing, and so I'm really proud to have lobbied really hard for a 60-day cap on holiday letting.
That's a big win.
Achieved that. Passed a residential strategy.
Sure.
We have an affordable housing complex being built in Mullumbimby, 32 1 and 2 bedroom studios and units.
That's all happening?
It's all happening, definitely going ahead.
Okay, where's that? Where did that end up?
It's in between Poinciana and the IGA, that car park there. So it's going to be built above that car park. We've secured replacement parking in the rail corridor, plus some, because the town's very short on parking, so that's been a good achievement.
Okay.
We resolved on Bruns Pay parking recently. That really helps with the finances.
Sure.
So it's a very, very hard financial time, and I think I've brought those skills to it.
Yeah.
We've managed to balance the books.
That's great.
And deliver on infrastructure improvements as well.
Yeah, because it's just interesting, me living here for over 20 years. It's like the mainstream is attracted to that alternative culture, but sometimes, especially in Mullen, the infrastructure is only built for so many people, and there's been a bit of a wave, especially post-COVID. A lot of people coming up here, where they,
Well, during COVID, really.
During COVID.
So we had a lot of holiday lets come back on the market.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't tourism.
Yes.
But then they were getting all being snapped up by out of
That's right.
out of the area buyers.
That's right.
So we never saw the advantage in a way of that, and so there was that housing pressure has been enormous.
It's interesting because I remember years ago there was where everyone was allowed to, it was 2,000 granny flats people were allowed to build out the back. It was a while back now, and most people, as little entrepreneurs they are, they turn into Airbnb, so it wasn't that advantageous.
Well, we're cracking down on that as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's an important thing because but
we need to build more houses.
Yeah. Because it's been great. It's not high-rise Gold Coast, and we've kept that down. But I think that's my point. There's all these people, extra people coming in. We all come from somewhere. It's a beautiful place to live.
The critical part is that the affordable housing we build.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that it goes to locals.
Yeah.
That we need to come up with criteria for Byron Shire locals.
Yeah.
People who've lived here, say 5 out of the last 7 years.
Yeah.
People that have got jobs, so that we can actually bridge that gap.
Yeah. Okay.
We can bridge that construction cost with what people are earning.
So there'd be a bit of a prerequisite, which is fair if
Absolutely.
you've been living here 5
well,
to 7
especially
years.
because council's got to be able to actually deliver it. Now, if we start talking about social housing, we can't play in that space. We can facilitate it. We can get state government to fund it.
Yeah.
Great, we'll help facilitate it.
Yeah.
But we can't be providing it. It's hard enough for us to do affordable housing.
Sure.
So that's why, it needs to be workers.
Yeah.
It needs to be locals.
Yeah. Okay.
People that have got a criteria around that.
Yeah, because it's especially public housing. There is deeper systemic issues with mental health, drugs, alcohol. Are people able to, even if they get given a house, to be able to sustain that?
Well, I think you're right to identify mental health is a massive issue.
It's a huge thing, especially around here. All the black sheep like to come and hang out.
Did you know that 17% of all New South Wales rough sleepers reside in Byron Shire?
Okay, well, is that because it's a nice place to hang out and live in the bush?
There's a multitude of factors.
But
it's also the acuteness of the housing crisis here.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of people, of single parents sleeping in their cars.
Yeah, post-flood.
Post-flood as well.
Post-flood.
There's been a lot of factors. Yes, but it's also, the climate encourages people here to some extent.
Yeah.
The Commonwealth Games and they in Gold Coast they cleared a lot of people out, and so they had to go somewhere as well. So
as well.
So there's a huge range of factors, but ultimately, as a society, I don't think we want to end up like places like America where you have these tent cities.
Yeah, see, that's I think
that's where we're going.
That's what I was because I have watched some of the videos and too left-leaning, let them do everything they want, provide a toilet, it just turns into a ghetto and too much the other way. I mean, just moving forward, what would you like to see, obviously more affordable housing. Our roads probably need a little bit more work, but I mean, we only get so much. Again, I'm a musician. I'm just learning a bit about the inner workings of politics, but is there only so much money that comes into the Shire to fix our roads? I mean, there's a little bit of work going up the road. You guys I've noticed there has been, certain roads being fixed, which is great, because that's always a hot topic and sore topic for people. You can only go so far. But can we do with a bit more funding, things like that?
I mean, other than raising rates, we are relying on government income.
Okay.
As a percentage of government of total income, our rate revenue now is actually way less than it used to be.
Okay.
We're sitting about 25%.
Okay.
So what that means, though, is that we are so reliant on government in order to get funding for road repairs.
Yeah.
Now, the reasons for that, probably a lot to do with state politicians wanting to cut ribbons.
Yeah, okay.
And so that sort of, there's a reason to underfund councils in that regard.
Interesting.
But look, the budget's tight everywhere. Everywhere you look, other than defence, they're tightening the budget.
Yeah, right.
So
that's huge. Yeah,
we're going to have to make do and do more with less. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of where we are in the economics at the moment, and it's getting really tough out there. But that's what representing your community is about, is just doing the best you can with what you've got.
And not everyone is going to agree, I mean, just to wrap up, the water topic was a hot topic. There's a lot of controversy, and just give me a little brief on you're confident with the decision that you made with the water. Just maybe a little
absolutely
wrap up on that one.
If you have a channel, I've got a 1-minute video which explains it really well.
Oh, okay.
But I'll give you the 20-second version.
Yeah. I'm just trying to touch on topics that
which
are,
is
you know,
that our water treatment plant is at the end of its life.
Okay.
We've been kicking the can down the road for 10 years, and now it's about to fail.
What do you mean kicking the can? Not addressing it?
Not addressing.
Maintenance?
No. It's 80 years old. There's no you
Okay.
can't even get some parts for it anymore.
It's going to cost.
It needs to be replaced. They need to build a
Okay.
new one, or
Yeah.
connect to the regional supplier Rouse,
Okay.
which is a public authority,
Yeah.
part owned by Byron Shire.
Okay. Righto.
From a pristine rainforest catchment,
Yeah.
for $1.5 million, which is grant funded, and we can connect to Rouse, and it's done.
Okay.
The other plan is
Yeah.
to dig 100,000 cubic metres of soil out of the
Okay.
Wilsons Valley flats to build a 200 megalitre dam,
Okay.
then build a new water treatment plant,
Okay.
and then pump the water uphill to Azalea Street Reservoir,
Okay.
versus
Yep.
gravity feeding it from Rocky Creek Dam and into Mullumbimby.
Yep.
It is the no-brainer of no-brainers.
Sure.
But Mullumbimby loves its own water supply. So
Yeah, no, look, I just
you've
wanted
got
to bring
take
that
the
up.
tough decisions.
I wanted to bring that up because it's
Righto.
you know, they're hot topics.
We don't shirk those things in
yeah,
council.
sure. And sometimes it's like, you know, the
I love talking about contentious issues. Honestly, I really do. Because you get to get the facts out there, and then people
right.
people actually then go, oh, okay. I didn't understand that.
I mean, a lot of us, especially in the Shire, God love us all, you know, we're reacting from emotions than actual facts.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
you know, it's great being emotional. Being a musician, you've got to be, but also I'm a facts guy as well.
Being an accountant, emotions don't generally help.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm a carpenter by trade, so you know,
you get it.
Yeah, right. You know, the practicality of what's going to get it over the line.
Well,
now, I'll
mate,
wrap it up. It's raining a little bit, but
a pleasure.
I did see, you know, just to wrap up online, you know, about, you know, you did all that work, or got all that work happening in the industrial estate, and someone piped in, you know, there's cracks already, and whinging about. I mean, and you piped in, because I do follow you on Facebook. It's like, well, you know, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. It needed to happen. It looks great. You know, it's
omelette and eggs.
Pardon? What do you mean by that?
Well, if you want to make an omelette, you've got to break some eggs, right?
Yeah, no, I get that. Look, thanks for your time, Michael. I know it's been a
mate.
challenging time, but
it's been a pleasure to knowing you over these years.
Yeah, and